before I start, because I always forget, please like and subscribe to this video. A lot of you aren't subscribed and you like to watch my videos, so please go and subscribe. Second is I'm always open to feedback. I'll put my email above, but it's maciel.sky@gmail.com. And I would love to hear from you and kind of videos that you would like me to do, or if you have any questions for me. Again, I am here super early as usual. It's 6:15 a.m. and nobody's here. So before I get work done, I realize I'm already done. I already have my makeup ish on and my hair's brushed. And that's usually what delays me from starting videos. So might as well take this little extra time that I have before I get work done. So the questions today that I had, and I've received them all through Instagram. I wrote them down just to summarize them, and I'll give you my input like I usually do because I love just hearing from you, and then I usually like just to tell you my opinion. So, and you guys seem to like that. So, here we go. So, the first question is all around like how do you balance work, life, FTB, performance, traveling because you travel quite a bit in this role, marriage, kids, etc. So, this is a question that I get quite often, and I think people are usually surprised with how much I can fit into a day, and just like how do you do all these things and still do good? And so I think that's like a big mystery for people, and I don't understand why it's such a big mystery because I don't feel like I am doing a million things a day in a way, just because I really just enjoy what I'm doing, and I think I've always been somebody that just fills up her day a ton since a young age. So like I don't know any different. So maybe that's why. Like I don't yeah, I guess I'm a like workaholic, but not just around work, but just like I guess a holic around just being productive. Maybe that's what it is. Productive workaholic. Um and I think it's important obviously for you to have like that compass within you and knowing like are you getting burnt out? Is this too much? Is this not enough? Etc. And so I think you always just have to kind of level back in and be like, is this too much for me? For me, yeah, there's certain times where like maybe I'm overdoing it, etc. And I realize, okay, now I'm really out of balance and this is making me unhappy. And so I think if that's the case, then you kind of take a step back and relook. But I think a lot of people aren't even close to their like threshold of like a lot of work and doing things, productivity, etc. And they start complaining at like 30% of the 100% bandwidth. And I think that's where you have an issue where you're trying to look for balance and you're like not even doing that much. So I would really check in on that. The other thing too of like how I can fit so much and do so much because people are always curious about that is the fact that I wake up super early. And yes, I go to bed early as well. I go to bed by 8:39, like I am in bed sleeping. And so I find sleep is super important. It's something that a lot of us don't take into account or ever cared about, but it's super important. And so um, I like to get 8 hours of sleep minimum a day. I mean, if I sleep at less than 8 hours, then it's not a good day. And I think people don't focus on sleep and how important it is for your health, for your um, metabolism, for your mental acuity, just like so many different things that I think are super important on sleep. And then it also helps you perform really well the next day. Anyways, I usually wake up around 5, sometimes earlier, but I've usually tried to be around 5. I think 4ish is a little too crazy. That's what my husband does. I'm more like the 5 to 5:30 mark. I am ready to go, jump out of bed, and I have energy because I've slept really well. And then I can tackle so many things just like this. Like I have time to film a YouTube video because I left my house at 5. I'm here at 6. I have 30 minutes to do a video and then get work done and then leave and then do FTB after work and then go home, spend time with my daughter, work a little bit more at night if I need to, and then go to bed. And so, and work out, of course, put working out in there because that's going to happen today at some point. And so it's just, I just make it fit in. And I think at the end of the day, it's all about priorities. I say no to a lot of things that were hard at the beginning. And I always tell people, like, you need to learn how to say no. And it is hard because I have a hard time saying no as well. But it's so powerful to just say, like, no, I don't have time for that. Like, I need to do this and this and this. A lot of what I say no to is like extracurricular things outside of work. So, like, hey, let's all go to a happy hour. Not going to be there. Hey, let's all go to X after work. Not going to be there. Hey, I have this party on Saturday. Probably not going to be there. Just a lot of things that I say no to because I find that's the time that I need to focus on my family. That's the time I want to spend with my daughter. That's the time I want to spend with my husband. And I find just those are distractions for me. And yeah, it's cool and you have FOMO and like I want to go there and like hang out with people too. But I think over the years I've realized like your time is so valuable and I'm just not willing to spend it on people that like aren't really filling my cup. And that doesn't mean that like I don't love my friends and that I don't like love family members, etc., who are here in Houston, etc. But it's I just choose my family, my small little family, as a priority, as well as all the other things that I need to do, instead of saying yes to everybody and like go to all these things because it's easy. You want to network, etc. I just find peace in saying no to things and focusing on like the tasks and my priorities. And usually my top five priorities are not going out with people, etc., after hours. And so that's one. That's how I balance work. Just putting priorities out there, working really hard, waking up early, going to sleep early. Like it's very basic things that I think people usually have like are waiting for this crazy magical recipe. And it's like, no, it's just put in the work, fill up your calendar, don't overburn yourself, and sleep is super important. Second is the question was around networking, like how do you network? Like I'm shy around networking. I don't know how to network in my career, etc. This is a huge topic. I think I could probably do a whole video on networking, but it's so important. And I tell everybody like you need to network with people in your company and outside of your company. You need to have a good amount of people that know who you are, that can support you, that know what you're good at, and that can put in a good word for you. And so it's important to, yes, build your network. And it shouldn't just be like your team and just like the people around you, but like reaching out to people in other countries, reaching out to people in other levels, etc. And I got the question about like, how do you reach out to people who are in higher levels if that's going to piss off somebody, within the chain and within the hierarchy? Because in different countries, it could be different. Again, I always like to go back and say like I live in the U.S. I grew up in Canada. Like most of my mentality and kind of how I approach things in life is a very North American mindset. And I know in different cultures and different countries it could be a little bit different. So take this with a grain of salt and depending on where you are and how comfortable you feel. But I truly feel like nowadays we're gonna be in 2025 very soon, and the whole hierarchy thing is just like I roll my eyes around that because it's like you're just a title. You're just like, I don't know, like it's not that different. You're not that different for me. Just because you have more seniority shouldn't mean that I like can't talk to you or that I can't reach out to you. And if somebody within that middle chain feels that way, then I think like just need to check themselves because that means they're super insecure. Um, but yeah, I think if you just want to reach out to somebody like one or two, three levels above you because you generally want like you want to say hi, you care, you want to have a coffee chat, you want some career advice, etc. I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally, and you should be able to do that. Now, again, check this in with yourself, check in, within the country or culture you work in, but that's just my opinion of I've always done that. Always reached out to people that and it's not about the levels or it's not about their title, but it's like people that I genuinely like, I wanted to get to know. So I'll give you some examples. Sometimes I'll see somebody speak on a panel that could be a VP or a director or whoever, and I like totally resonate with their message. I think they're awesome and I just want to get to know them. And so yeah, I will most likely reach out to them via LinkedIn, via Teams, whatever, and say, I loved your speech. I think you're super cool. Would love to get to know you if you ever have 10 minutes for coffee or if you ever want to go for lunch. I mean, you can offer whatever it is that you want. It could be a 5 minute conversation. It could be a handshake. It could be like, I would like to do lunch, something a little bit longer. And then it's really, you're putting the ball in their court on saying yes or no to you. But I think a lot of people just stop at that first step of like, I would love to get to know them. I would love to say hi to them, etc. And they never do. And I have, so many people that reach out to me who are just starting in the company, etc. I will always take you up for coffee. I will always say yes. I will always try to give you a little bit of my time if that's going to help you somehow. And I know that what I do for a lot of people is what everybody else does for a lot of people. Usually, like I said in all my videos, people are usually pretty open to saying yes, having a little coffee, a virtual coffee chat, whatever it is that they can help you with, they will do because they probably asked as they were going up in their careers as well. So everybody wants to give back a little bit. So don't be afraid to ask for advice, for help, for getting to know somebody, no matter what their title is, because I think they're willing to help you. And those connections, you never know where they're going to lead, and you'll never know how it will help you out in the future. So many people that I look back now of like the last 5 years that maybe I've reached out to, that I've had coffee with, that I met at an event, etc. And it comes full circle how they end up helping you, how they end up giving you super great advice, or also how I've been able to help them with other people that I know. And so it's important that you give to your network, not just take from your network. So I encourage you to take that advice and go network with people. Second is around like goal settings, etc. Because I talk a lot about that on my Instagram. And I would say like you need to have goals. And it's not just having goals, but you really need to try to take like a Saturday, half day in the morning if you have time, and really just sit down with yourself and think about what your future, like your ideal future looks like. I think a lot of us don't do that enough where we're in a rat race. You just go job after job after job, role after role after role, career after career, job, company after company, etc. You just kind of go through life with no real intention of what it is that you want out of life. I always go back to saying your life is short. We're here for a very small amount of time. We can all literally, like, after this video I can go home and die. Like, it's, and I like to talk about death because it's, we kind of avoid it, and it's, you got to look in the mirror and realize like you could not be here, you could maybe not be here next year. And so make sure you live your life around that concept. I feel like that makes life just easier. It's easier to take risk, it's easier to go ask people for things, or reach out to people, because like you're not even going to be here in a few years. Like, well, none of us are going to be here in 100 years, and no one's going to remember us. And so it's important to kind of live your life with a little bit of that like mentality of like, it's not that big of a deal, go do it. But also on the aspect of setting goals is, you really need to sit down and realize like what makes you happy, what does success mean to you, what do you want to be doing in 5 years, what do you want to be doing in 10 years. And you don't have to have all the answers. A lot of us usually are like, I don't know. But it's important to sit down and think about those things, because you need to start designing your life in 5 to 10 years today. Because everything that you're doing today, the actions that you're doing today, the roles that you're doing today, the people you're talking with today, that's what's going to help your future shape the way you want it to in 5 to 10 years. If you just keep your head down and work really hard and like expect things to work out for you, and you don't even know what working out for means, like, then that's going to be really hard. If you don't know what success means to you, then how are you going to go achieve success? If so, it's really basic stuff. I feel like a lot of the things that people have questions on are very basic things that we overlook because we just follow the path of society of like, I just need to do this. And then you get there in 20 years, and you're like, wait, I worked so hard my entire life for this, like this is what I looked like, this is what I killed myself for 10 years. This isn't the life that I even wanted. And so I think it's really important that you just sit down, write down your goals, and make sure that they're big. Make sure that they scare you, because if not, you're not going to do that many great things. So I think the video is already long, and I'm trying to make these videos short, so I'm going to look at the time. But just you know make sure that you are aware of where you're steering the car, because I think I'm in a pivotal moment where I'm realizing the future that is ahead of me is not something necessarily that excites me. And so I need to start doing the things today to make sure that I'm steering the ship to what it is that I want and what it is that success looks like to me, career wise or life wise, etc. And so I encourage you to just sit down, write some notes, and figure out the path that you want in 5 to 10 years, and then start working on that today. And that might mean changing your role. That might mean changing companies. That might mean taking a year off, whatever that is, getting married. I don't know. Whatever that is, start working on that today, because you're going to close your eyes. It's going to be 10 years. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.